Hi, my name is Miranda. This is the first of a series I will be doing for the pelvic floor, and it's the gentlest. So it is perfect if you've had a baby or if you have pelvic floor issues that you are very much aware of. We will be waking up the pelvic floor so that it works with the breath. When we breathe using the diaphragm, which is the healthiest way to breathe, the diaphragm domes down as we breathe in and the pelvic floor relaxes too. As we exhale, they both dome back up again. But if we breathe in and up without using the diaphragm, which is what many people can get in the habit of doing, we lose that connection with the pelvic floor. If you think or you know that you are a chest breather, so your breath moves in and up, I would suggest you possibly start with my video, diaphragmatic breathing. But otherwise, we're going to start on the floor. So come onto your back. And we're going to start off stretching the pelvic floor. So bring your knees in towards your chest. This might seem a strange thing to suggest to you, but quite often the pelvic floor is tight, and tight means weak as well. It means we have no movement in the pelvic floor, or little freedom of movement in the pelvic floor. So just with the knees into the chest, I want you just to breathe deeply. Maybe close your eyes so you can really experience how this feels. So breathing deeply. What we're doing is we're stretching the back right the way down to the tail. So our tailbone and the pubic bone are part of the pelvic floor, so it attaches back to front. And we're stretching this muscle here. And this is often very tight, whether it's from stress, poor posture, or other things that make our pelvic floor clench. So just taking a moment to breathe deeply, observing. You may feel that as you inhale, the tail moves away, and as you exhale, it comes back again. So just observe that. You may not feel it, so don't worry if you don't. It will be happening a tiny bit, even if you don't feel it. So just observing, breathing deeply. And then we're going to take the left foot onto the floor, keeping your right knee in, and we're going to circle the knee. Now this circle might be really small for you. It might be bigger. So just keeping your pelvis still, you may want to have your left hand on your left hip. Just making sure the pelvis doesn't move, it's just the thigh rolling in your hip socket. So just circling that thigh, the knee. Maybe letting that circle get bigger, observing. So only ever as big as feels good for you. So if you have pain in the pelvic floor area, don't make the circle so big. Be much smaller, much more gentle. So just observing. So what we're doing here is we're bringing movement to all around the pelvis, waking up all the pelvic floor muscles as well as all the muscles around the hips. You may feel tummy muscles working a little bit too, so it's waking up those muscles. And take the circle in the other direction. Just see if you can observe what is happening down there as your pelvic floor gets a bit of a workout, a stretch and a strengthening as you move. And this can really help bring balance to our pelvic floor as well, stretching and working it. A lot of movements in yoga are actually working the pelvic floor, even if we're not aware of it. And often we have a big imbalance in our pelvic floor, whether that is from sitting cross-legged, standing with a hip lifted, so many things that can cause an imbalance in the pelvic floor or an injury. Take the foot back down and we'll do the other side. So circle the left knee. So again, maybe that circle is tiny. Don't feel you have to make this circle anything. It's about your body, listening to your body, and doing what feels right. So just if it feels good to make that circle bigger, make it bigger. So it's an observing, moving, freeing up around the hips, waking up muscles in the pelvic floor, bringing more oxygen to them. Again, observing tummy muscles. So by doing this, we're waking up tummy muscles one side and then the other as well. And take the circle the other direction. So just remembering that a toned pelvic floor is flexible and strong. So just like any group of muscles, if you are very tight, that doesn't mean that those muscles are strong. We need to have freedom of movement. And then bring the foot back down. I'm going to do one more movement that really helps to encourage those muscles to engage and relax, just introducing the breath. So again, inhale, and exhale, tip your pelvis back so your lower back presses firmly down. You'll feel your tummy muscles engage and squeeze your pelvic floor, so sense it together, in and up. Inhale, tip your pelvis forward so a little arch happens in your lower back. Relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, tip your pelvis back, lower back presses down, again firmly down, tummy muscles will engage, squeeze your pelvic floor. Inhale, tip your pelvis forwards, a little arch happens in your lower back, and again release. Exhale, tip your pelvis back, lower back presses down, feel those tummy muscles engaging as you press down, squeeze your pelvic floor. And keep going, so the inhale, you're tipping forwards. The exhale, you're tipping back. So just introducing that connection between tummy muscles engaging at the same time as pelvic floor muscles engage. And introducing that timing that's on the exhale, that tummy muscles and pelvic floor engage. And in this movement, our pelvic floor will naturally engage a little bit because we're tucking our tail under, so we're drawing the tail up. And on the inhale, we're naturally stretching it. So you may feel that too. And remember, relaxing the pelvic floor is just as important as engaging it. Otherwise, we can get a hypertonic pelvic floor, which is too tight. So come to neutral. We're then going to do this without the movement, so just with the breath, without the movement. So bring your hands onto your belly. And this is where you may feel you need to go back to my diaphragmatic breathing video if you feel this is too hard to get the hang of. So on the inhale, I want you to breathe in and down into your belly. You should feel your belly swelling, blowing up like a balloon. And on the exhale, your belly should fall. So just a few moments just to make that connection, making sure you're breathing using your diaphragm. Inhale, draw the breath down into your belly should rise. And as you exhale, your belly should fall. Now the next time you exhale, exhale more. And notice how the more you exhale, the more your tummy muscles engage, flatten. That's where we want to engage the pelvic floor too. So inhale, relax. Breathe into the belly. Exhale, and the more you exhale and you feel your tummy muscles engage, draw your pelvic floor in as well. So it's a sense of together, in and up. Keep going. And so visualizing your pelvic floor, it's a bit like a diamond shape with circles as well around the holes. So we want to draw together, in and up, front and back, and side to side, and a drawing in and up. So imagine you're drawing that diamond shape of the front, so the pubic bone to the tailbone, sitting bone to sitting bone, together, and then in and up. Keep going. And I will be accessing the different muscles of the pelvic floor in other videos, but here I just want this connection with the breath of an engagement on the exhale. And if you feel you need a bit more understanding of how to find these muscles, if you look in the written instructions, the written information on this video, you will find something. Make sure you don't clench your buttocks as you exhale, so keep the buttocks, the glutes out of it. Keep them as soft as possible. And then we're going to come just to relax. And we're going to bring the knees into the chest again. And again, hug your knees. Again, just getting the stretch. So rather than leaving the pelvic floor in a tight position, I'm just going to release and stretch. Again, breathe. And then circle both knees. So 2 circles with the knees. And again, this might be a very small movement. It might be a big movement. Again, just bringing movement, freedom of movement to your pelvic floor. And the other direction. And then bring your feet onto the floor. Roll over onto your side. And it's worth doing this in different positions. So sometimes when you're sitting, just think, inhale, belly relaxes. Exhale, as you feel your tummy muscles engage, draw your pelvic floor in and up. Inhale, relax. Exhaling again. The more you exhale, draw your pelvic floor together, in and up. So practice it, sitting, standing, various other positions. And remember too, if you encourage your pelvic floor to engage on the exhale, if you cough or if you sneeze, they're both the exhales, and your pelvic floor will be there to support you. Also, a bit of advice, if you pick up something very heavy, do it on an exhale. Because again, your pelvic floor is going to be engaging, strengthening. The pelvic floor is very much part of your core. It's the base of your pelvis. Tummy muscles being the front of your core. Back muscles being the back, obviously. Diaphragm being the top. So we've got the top, bottom, front and back. If you can get the pelvic floor to work with you, you'll have a much stronger core altogether. I hope you found that helpful. Please do subscribe if you find my videos useful.